Bitcoin accessibility from a blind person in number 8217. Perspective. Last week a fundraiser was started in order to get Satoshi Nakamoto's original Bitcoin white paper written in Braille for blind people. Thanks to the generosity of many Bitcoin proponents, the project in number 8217's funding was successfully completed, and the paper will soon be made available to the general public. Currently, there is an initiative in the works to transcribe Satoshi's white paper in Braille, a tactile writing system used by individuals who are visually impaired. The creator of the project explains that Satoshi's paper has been translated into multiple languages, but has yet to be transcribed in Braille. The Bitcoin White Paper Braille project is working with the American Printing House for the Blind in order to press, bound, and distribute the copies to anyone who is visually impaired for free. Most of the cost of printing is related to the creation of tactile graphics representing the various technical diagrams that appear throughout the white paper, explains Adam Newbold, the creator of the White Paper Braille project. Blind people read with Braille. Audio is nice, and many blind and visually impaired individuals enjoy using audio to consume information. But it's not a complete substitute for actual text that can be read. If someone, sighted or not, wants to be able to read the white paper, they should have to settle for an audio version in lieu of real text. Bitcoin and the blind. The biggest barriers are accessibility. Craig McGee. Following the completion of the Braille project's fundraiser, News. Bitcoin.com spoke with Craig McGee, a blind Bitcoin proponent from the UK who also casually mines BTC from home. However, it in number 8217. Not easy being a visually impaired Bitcoiner, as there are a lot of accessibility issues with wallets and software, which makes it difficult for blind people. Mr. McGee has been 100% blind his whole life. He has a genetic disorder that affects his eyes called Nori in number 8217. Disease. The biggest barriers for the blind are accessibility. Mr. McGee tells News. Bitcoin.com. Most of the wallets are difficult to use, and the Qt client interface DOESN in number 8217 work too well with a screen reader. So I have to do most things with the debug console, and I have to use the in number 8216 help in number 8217 command to remind me of some of the commands. Some wallets are even worse, as the menus are not read out by the reader, so I can in number 8217 get them to debug. The tools and methods Mr. McGee uses to send a Bitcoin transaction on R. McGee explains user difficulty for the blind really depends on the wallet. Currently, he utilizes the blockchain wallet, which works reasonably well for him, but some features, like sending to multiple addresses, the button is not read out loud by the screen reader platform. And number 8220. So I go to the wallet and press enter or space using the send transaction button. Mr. McGee details, describing how he sends a Bitcoin transaction from a wallet. Then the dialog box will open, and I press E to get to the edit box. Put in the address and press tab to the next box to insert the amount, and finally hit tab to continue. With a desktop client I in number 8217 either use the debug console or get the command from the in number 8216 help in number 8217 tab to send a transaction, so I can insert the address and amount into the command line. I also use a notepad and copy and paste the data back into debug. Or if the file or settings menu has a send option, I go there and see if it in number 8217 usable. Mining software is more accessible and easier to use as far as the Bitcoin white paper being written in Braille. Mr. McGee thinks it in number 8217 An interesting idea for knowledge for those not using the internet. But he personally likes to read things online using a TXT or doc file format and just get the screen reader to read it out loud. But in number 8217, a good idea to ing the knowledge of Bitcoin offline too. Mr. McGee emphasizes. Mr. McGee says there are a bunch of options out there for the blind to help with accessibility, such as the free screen reading program NVDA. When Mr. McGee is mining at home, he says Bitmain's Antminer software is very accessible for the blind and easy to use. I just input my pool information into the boxes and let it mine to whatever pool I want, explains Mr. McGee, describing his home mining operation. It depends on the pool if the website is accessible. There in number 8217. A lot of variants. But in an ideal situation, I'd set it up to the pool. Then go to the pool. Find how to tether the payout to my wallet address and have funds sent there. In number 8217. All about web interfaces and websites being screen reader friendly. Mr. McGee DOESN in number 8217. Believe developers think about disabled Bitcoin users on R. McGee says it in number 8217. Hard for him to predict what the price will be, but he hopes Bitcoin in number 8217. Value will continue to rise. However, Mr. McGee notes that he DOESN in number 8217. Hold much hope for Bitcoin or altcoins to become more accessible to the blind. I fear developers just on in number 8217. Think about accessibility for disabled people 99% of the time. And that one in number 8217. Change. He adds, what do you think about Bitcoin accessibility for the blind? Do you think there are ways that software developers could make it easier for disabled people? What do you think about the white paper written in Braille? Let us know in the comments below.